Today, the United States of America is the world's ultimate superpower. But in 1776, this country was so far behind that people didn't even have bathrooms in their homes. Viewers, in today's video, we are going to see what the houses, roads, schools, police, army, and lifestyle were really like when the USA was first born. I have put a lot of hard work and deep research into creating this video, uncovering facts that you have likely never heard or seen before. Watch this video until the very end, and before we begin, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Your one subscription gives us immense motivation. Thank you. Forget today's smooth roads. In 1776, roads were nothing but dirt paths, and when it rained, they turned into deep mud. Imagine riding a horse or wagon, wheels stuck in mud, slipping again and again, with no clear path ahead. Back then, there were no proper road systems, no street signs, and no maps like today. Travel depended on memory, landmarks, and luck. Today, we just open GPS and reach anywhere easily. But at that time, even a short journey could take days. Travel wasn't just difficult, sometimes it was life-threatening. Without today's GPS, do you think you could find your way? Today, every city has an organized police, forced to protect people and maintain law and order.
Response.
But in 1776, there was no formal police system at all. People had to protect themselves. There were no emergency numbers to call, no quick response teams, and no structured law enforcement like today. At night, ordinary citizens would act as guards. They would patrol streets to keep an eye out for danger or suspicious activity. The line, "At night, ordinary people became guards," highlights how responsibility for safety was shared by the community, not professionals. Now, if something goes wrong, you can immediately call the police. Back then, you were mostly on your own. If there were no police today, what would happen? America's army. Today, it is the strongest in the world. But in 1776, it wasn't a professional military at all. These soldiers were actually farmers, forced to leave their plows and pick up rifles. George Washington, their commander, George Washington, had the passion, but zero resources. They didn't even have proper uniforms to wear. Many soldiers had no shoes, and marching barefoot in the snow left their trails stained red with blood. They weren't just fighting for a country, they were fighting for their very survival. The world's greatest empire was on one side, and on the other were people whose greatest strength was nothing but their willpower. In 1776, America wasn't America yet. It was just 13 colonies, laying the foundation for a massive dream. Then came the day when the Declaration of Independence was signed, an act that sparked a new chapter in history. The people simply made a decision that they no longer wanted slavery, only freedom. They had finally taken the pen of destiny into their own hands. But nobody knew what would happen next, because the price of freedom is always paid in blood. Today, education is a basic human right. But in 1776, knowledge wasn't meant for everyone. Back then, only the wealthy could afford to educate their children. For the common people, going to school was nothing more than a dream. Girls were often never sent to school at all. Their education was restricted to household chores. Most children started working in the fields by the age of 7 or 8. If you were born back then, would you be able to study like you do today? Or would you be out there plowing a field? Forget about fast food. There was no order now option back then. In 1776, if you wanted to eat, you first had to grow it yourself. Every home was a small farm, where people worked from dawn until dusk just to satisfy their hunger. The concept of a fridge or freezer didn't even exist. To keep meat from spoiling, it was either buried in salt or dried using smoke. Preserving enough food for the winter was like winning a war. Imagine a daily struggle just to save your food, where one bad season of weather could mean starvation for the entire year. Girls were strictly limited to the walls of the home. Their entire day spent keeping the hearth burning and sewing clothes. And for men, the burden of providing for the family was so heavy that they weren't even allowed to be tired. The word childhood barely existed back then, because childhood ended far too soon. Playtime and toys were a luxury only the children of the rich could afford. Even 12-year-old boys performed the back-breaking labor of adults, whether it was plowing the fields or working at a blacksmith's forge. They weren't treated as children, but rather as miniature adults. Just imagine, at the age where we today think about school holidays, a child in 1776 was already responsible for feeding an entire household. The America of 1776 was no paradise. It was a relentless struggle, but it was this very grit and hardship that laid the foundation for the America that stands as a global superpower today. There were no comforts, no shortcuts, only soil, sweat, and a passion for freedom. Today, we press a button and everything is served. But think about it, if you were there back then, would you have been able to survive? Tell us in the comments, would you have been ready for that kind of life? If you enjoy informative and interesting videos like this, then remember, knowledge is the power that sets a person apart from others. Today, you learn something new. Tomorrow, you can teach it to someone else. So subscribe now, and take your knowledge to the next level with every new video. Those who keep learning, keep moving forward.